Hello everyone and welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about the USS Defiant from Deep Space Nine. Now this ship has always been one of my favorites. However, the accusation has been made by some that the Defiant doesn't quite look right compared to other Starfleet ships. So what we're going to do today is talk about this tough little ship, make some comparisons, and see if we can come up with a solution to this potential issue. To start out, if we compare the Defiant to a fleet of other Starfleet vessels, it is true that it does seem to stand out. And one of the first things you can notice in a comparison like this is that the Defiant does not have a secondary hull, as is common in most Starfleet ships, such as the Galaxy-class and Excelsior-class ships we can see prominently here. However, another Starfleet class that does not have a secondary hull is the Miranda class, such as we can be seen here in a number of other places in the fleet. So I'm going to do a little bit of an experiment where I compare the Defiant class to the Miranda class and see what kind of similarities we can find. We'll start out with a dorsal view of the Defiant, and then we're going to compare that to the primary hull of the Miranda class. Specifically, I am using the USS Landry, which appeared in an episode of The Next Generation. I'm choosing this variant in particular because it does not have the roll bar that is seen on most versions of the Miranda class. You can see that the basic hull shapes do have some similarities. Now, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the torpedo pod that would be in the middle of the roll bar and placed it on the front of the ship like this, in a similar location as the deflector would be located on the Defiant. Now, to make it match up, I did have to enlarge the torpedo pod a little bit, but you can see they do have very similar shapes. The other major component to consider would be the nacelles. And now for this part of the design, I'm going to be taking an idea from the Constellation class, where I rotate the nacelles 90 degrees so they're oriented vertically instead of horizontally. Now, to get it to work, I did have to cheat a little bit, namely that I had to make them shorter and fatter to match up with the proportions of the Defiant's nacelles. However, at least on a surface level, by rearranging and modifying slightly some parts from the Miranda class, I think we come up with a design that definitely does have some visual similarities with the Defiant, showing that I think it makes sense that the Defiant can be seen as fitting in with other ships of the same fleet, even though it is a little bit of a departure from the traditional arrangement of a Starfleet vessel. However, what do you think? Do you just think the Defiant just doesn't cut it, it's too different, or does this comparison make sense? Welcome any comments you have down in the comments down below the video. Also, on a side note, I recently unlocked the Defiant in Star Trek Timelines, so look forward to that appearing in some upcoming videos as well. Thank you for joining me, and I hope you have a blessed day.